Welcome, broadcasting to the entirety of the Super Smash Bros. Community. This is Beyond the Metagame. I'm your host, Peon, this week live from Alberta, Canada. I'm joined, as always, by wonderful co-host, Abhi. Abhi, how's it going, big boy?
What even is in Alberta?
Alberta, there's a lot of friendly people. There's maple syrup abound.
Name one friendly person in Alberta that you know.
We have like so many Canadians in the BTM Discord. Like statistically speaking, it's one of them. It's one of them. Okay, it's one of the. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Is Alberta even like the famous place to get maple syrup? Like what?
Yeah, maybe we're just totally misrepresenting Canada. Like that's kind of the thing. It's like, you know how I don't know. Like some foreigners might think that, you know, America, like, oh, there's the movie stars and stuff, but it's kind of just Los Angeles. You know, it's not really. Maybe that's, you know, Alberta has nothing to do with Canada. We're just kind of being bigots, Avy.
Yeah, as we usually are when talking about random parts of the world.
Yeah, like I feel like part of our mission statement in making this show international, you know, we did the countries when we get new countries. We always try to, like, the whole point was to, you know, give a nod to our international listeners, but we've just done a lot of damage. Like we've done a lot of bad, you know, news for international relations on this show for sure.
I say you're responsible for like 95% of it.
I
don't know why you're lumping me in here.
Yeah, I hesitate to challenge you. I really do. But Avy, how you been, bro? How you been? What's up with you?
I've been quite well. I have been playing Ultimate somewhat, but it's taken a small backseat for me. I'm a pirate. For me, love for the game. Of the game of Super Smash Bros. Melee. I have been playing a ton of Melee recently, and I am in love with the game again. It's pretty funny.
That's great. Yeah, I know. I've been talking to you a lot behind the scenes, and you've been telling me. I like to imagine that every time we talk in real life, it's behind the scenes in terms of like in relation to the other game, like off the air. No, you've been talking to me a lot about your love of Melee and how you'll dominate me the next time we play. I'm looking forward to it. Anything specifically moving you towards Melee as of late? Like why you've been playing so much Melee?
Something that we describe on the show a lot is talking about like character expression, and for some reason, like being like my movement and the things I can do with Marth and Melee feels so much more unique than the stuff like I can do in Ultimate. Not to say that I can't express my uniqueness in Ultimate, it's just kind of what's vibing with me right now, so I'm just kind of going with the flow. The DK and Joker are very much alive, so don't worry. But
you've been
right
playing
now,
the Marth recently, the Melee Marth, wave dashing around, chain grabbing people.
Yeah, I got my shield drops recently unlocked. I've been practicing my pivot tippers, all of the kind of hard tech. I've been purposely practicing my power shielding for when I play your Falco. So
you're going down, man. You're going down. Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing to do. I think it's a good practice to have. Like I most of our listenership, of course, is Ultimate players. We do have a lot of Melee players and ex Melee players who listen too. But I encourage people to go back and, you know, have some fun with their former loves. You know, go back, rediscover Melee, and I think, I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's made you appreciate Ultimate more or less, or how do you feel about how like your recent love of Melee or rediscovery of Melee has impacted your opinions of Ultimate?
It absolutely makes me think about Ultimate differently. A lot of the time, I think there was this one tweet that got really popular by Nick Riddle, where he said, like, unpopular opinion, doing random attacks is bad. It's really funny that like that people think it's like a hot take or unpopular opinion, but I mean, Melee made me appreciate how important it is to just kind of like absorb space and not necessarily do anything. You can play most of the game just dash dancing with Marth, and because Marth's dash dance is so good, you actually don't really need to be throwing out attacks. So when I played Marth and Melee, and then I transitioned over to Ultimate, I found that my DK, while I'm not Melee dash dancing with DK, I found that my DK was a lot more reserved. It was a lot more a lot more precise with the attacks that I threw out, and it
That's
feels a lot
funny.
more calculated.
Well, it's like you say that, and then I watched Meister at Congo Saga last weekend, and that dude just runs around throwing out safe smash attacks, baiting his opponent, and I think honestly just kind of having a little fun. Like he'll be across out just spamming down smash. You never really see that in Melee, where like there's just a fox just spamming up smash alone in a corner. Like that never seems. It's so silly. I don't know why it works. I want to unpack that, but yeah, I don't know.
Game and Watch is not Smash Ultimate or anything. I don't think Game and Watch has ever played the actual Smash game that the character has resided in. It's
Yeah.
like it's always like some like other strange mini game that you play against the character. And I have a lot of respect for Meister, and I think Game and Watch is a funny character to watch, but he completely changes the landscape of the game. It's really
For
funny.
sure. Yeah, he marches to the beat of his own drum for sure. But enough about Melee for now, AV. This week specifically, we're celebrating Smash Ultimate. It's been a year, man. Smash Ultimate's 1 year anniversary just passed. It's so crazy, man. It feels like it. If I really remember so vividly, like the ramp up period to Ultimate, I have such strong memories of recording the early podcast with you back in the Smash 4 days and anticipating Ultimate. And a part of me still feels like I'm anticipating Ultimate. There's always something I'm looking forward to, new character reveal, probably at the Game Awards, I'm speculating. There's always something to be announced. So I still kind of feel like we're in that ramp up period. And yet a year has passed. And I kind of want to take some time this week, AV, to kind of reflect on some of the best of like that year, the best patches, the best characters, some of the best moments, but also talking about our expectations going into the game and what we've learned as a result, kind of the reality we've gathered along the way, and some tips from what we've gathered thus far.
Yeah, I think that's a really good summary of what we're going to talk about today. So why don't we just get right into it?
Sure thing. Before we do, I will plug our Patreon and our Discord. A lot of people asking me, AV Peon, what's the best way to play you guys? What's the best way to get in contact with you? Join the Beyond the Metagame Discord. It is on our website. It is in a podcast show notes and YouTube description. And you can play with AV and I, talk to us and meet a lot of other friendly listeners. Also, consider supporting the show on Patreon because, God damn it, I should have never signed that lease with AV. His credit score is even lower than mine somehow. Who knew that was possible?
What longer than 1 year lease did you sign with me? Wait, what is this lease?
One lease full of regret and full of
Please elaborate.
No, we won't elaborate, but we will consider. Yeah, but if you do support us on Patreon, you do get access to our other show, Beyond the Metagame, and a lot of other great perks. So consider joining. But AV, unless you have anything else, should we go right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's all that and more in just 1 second. Welcome back to Beyond the Metagame. This week, AEV and I are here to give our 1 year retrospective on Smash Ultimate. AV, look, man, I want to take a little trip down memory lane with you. It was just over a year ago. I think you and I were both bundled outside of a Starbucks, drinking our coffee in line for the midnight release of Smash Ultimate. You kept holding my hand. That was weird. I kept slapping it away, but it kind of prepared us, I think, both for the upcoming combat. We would be we would then be playing Smash Bros for the next 8 to 10 hours. A game that we had hotly been anticipating. Does that feel like it was yesterday, or am I crazy?
I have this ridiculous image in my mind of us standing outside that Starbucks out. I can't shake that. But it actually is funny how short of a time span it does seem to be. I don't know what to attribute that to, but I actually think it's because not much has changed. The game is somewhat similar to what it was on release day because of how minimal the changes have been. the characters that we thought were good kind of got solidified pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The players who are winning and the players who are losing haven't changed a whole lot outside of a few, like notably maybe Meister.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some
I
people like
think it's
Louise, Prodigy, you know, some people
sure.
like ZD early on was a top fox. He kind of fell off a little bit. Like there were some exceptions, but for the most part, the tippy top was solidified pretty early. It was okay. Leo and Tweak are pretty. Actually, I will say this: right when the game first came out, everybody was talking about Tweak. Tweak, 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 Tweak. He is the man to beat. He is the number one player in the world. And MK Leo kind of quietly was squeezing by with his Ike and Lucina doing really, really, really well. But you know what I mean? Like he wasn't considered the favorite out of the gates. Everybody was kind of on the Tweak bandwagon.
Yeah, I think it's mostly due to the type of learning that different players have. Tweak has a lot of intuition and not and basically some base knowledge that was really really easy for him to port over into the new game. Whereas
Yeah,
MK Leo's ability to amass experiences and to kind of create this amazing knowledge bank and just kind of snowball out of control based off of how like storied his experience in the game is
yeah.
lends
I
itself to be
think
better after a few tournaments.
Yeah, pardon me for interrupting you. I think you can see that kind of Tweak intuition when it comes to his ability to pick up new characters. Of course, that happened in Smash 4, but in Smash Ultimate, we're seeing the same thing where it's like every single major tournament, he's picking up a new character. And also, I mean, I don't want to try to play like armchair psychologist with these guys, but Leo, such a resolute mind, the kind of dude that he doesn't really have any negative outbursts ever. He's just like a little like the little train engine that could just slowly climbing up the mountain. You know, I can do this. I can do. Or what? Wait, what does he say? What does the little trains do? I think I can. I think I can. That's right. And
What, Thomas the tank engine?
no, Avi, this can't
What?
be like a white thing, right? Come on, like the little engine that could.
Oh, that story.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think I can. I think I can.
I have forgotten about that one.
Oh, come on, Av.
I think it is. It
I
may
think
be.
when we
It
were
may be
holding
white
hands at that
culture.
Starbucks, I kept telling you about that.
Yes, this is white culture, man. That's what I'll put it up to.
Okay, they say white people don't have culture. All right, we do have the little train engine that could. Knowing, well, well, let's just go on. Let's just go on. Let's just get out of here as soon as possible. So, as I was saying, Leo has the ability. He's so positive, and he's kind of always moving forward. He never really has these ins and outs with the games. He's never down about his results. He's just always kind of doing his thing. GG's, you know. And I think that long term that really benefits him. Whereas Tweak, I don't think he's as much in love with the game. He's very vocal on Twitter and otherwise, you know, when he has dissatisfactions with the game, when he's kind of upset about his own personal life. I don't know anything about Tweak's personal life, but I'm sure he has plenty of legitimate reasons to be. But you know, he has more negativity going on in kind of his brand, and I think that like overall, that's really helped Leo long term compared to like our initial evaluations of who is the best player in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. It's become more and more apparent, especially with crossing over from Smash 4 to Ultimate, that mentality, like we say in the show, is so important. Is one of the most important things to improving, the most important thing to staying good once you're already good. It helps you increase your longevity of your competitive lifespan, and it does wonders for the rest of your life in terms of improving the way that you think about improving at life. And I think just to kind of pull this all the way back to your initial question or thesis of this of this show is, why do we feel like it's just been yesterday when the game came out? Like I was considering that it's just because things have stayed the same, but do you kind of have a different response to that?
I I think it's pretty apparent to me how big of a skill cap there is in Ultimate. Like I don't know about you, man. I don't know about you, but like when maybe it's just that I've matured as a man, as a young man, and as a smasher, right? and I've been more introspective due to my conversations with you and putting on this podcast. But like when I was first getting into Melee and Smash 4, I was like, man, I am all sorts of sick. Like my punish game is nuts. I just have these crazy reads. And when I was really good at Smash 4, I still felt pretty cocky. I still felt like, man, I'm really good. If I just had, a couple more things, I could be like on the tippy tip of the top level, right? And in Smash Ultimate, I still feel so humbled every time that I play the game. And I've had some good results. I've won some tournaments. Like last week, I actually won a Squad Strike event at a pretty stacked local. That was fun.
No, that's
Uh,
really cool.
and and I won a doubles tournament at a really stacked local at Gamers Rebooted in NorCal recently. And well, to be fair, like Prodigy and some other top players were at Congo Saga, so I kind of dodged a bullet. Just don't want to hype myself up too much. But I've had some successes, and yet every single time I play the game, I feel like there's so much more I could be doing. Like I'm just not hitting certain things super consistently. Like maybe it's that. Like I don't feel like I've mastered the game yet, and thus it still feels so new to me. Do you feel any of that?
I actually feel that a lot more with I feel that a lot more with Ultimate than I did with Smash 4, absolutely. And it's like I think every game there's at least like 5 or 6 things where it's like, oh, that was not the optimal thing to do. My execution could have been tighter there. It's like, or I'll notice a situation in which I didn't do the optimal thing, in which I could have done the optimal thing. And I don't agree in the sense that I actually still see that in Melee a lot. So I know you mentioned that in Smash 4 and Melee you don't really feel as humbled, but I actually feel way more humbled in Melee, and that's, I think, a really interesting thing. Coming into Ultimate, I actually feel less humbled in Ultimate. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know, I don't know why. I think it's just because of the kind of the risk reward nature of the character that I play.
Yeah.
Um, it may be because I'm getting away with things that much better players wouldn't be able to wouldn't like that wouldn't work against much better players.
Yeah.
I guess it's just maybe a lack of experiences. So with Ultimate in general, I think I've actually the reason it's been I think a really like slow years that I actually feel like I've just improved it's like my improvement acceleration has been the same. I've actually improved a lot, but I haven't seen any changes in the acceleration of my improvement.
Yeah.
So I think
Well, I
so
assume you
if you
improved
look
at a fast rate right when the game came out, right? Because clearly there was more to learn, right?
sure. Right,
But
but
like
that's like
since
that
the month or
initial.
two out.
Sure. That was like the initial burst. But past that, it's been so consistent that it's hard to perceive the changes in your gameplay because these changes are are in this like intertwined network with with other people's like improving gameplay. So
Yeah.
what you're really observing is you're observing a net zero across the board, assuming that everyone's improving at a similar rate, or at least the players that you're interacting with are improving at a similar rate to you. So
Yeah.
this net zero effect, even though you're getting better at the game, is strangely enough, it's bizarre and it's slightly demotivating, interestingly enough.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think unpacking that would be really interesting. Is now the time for that? I'm not sure. I think something that I know you really wanted to get into is, I guess, the expectations that we had for the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Well, I think it's important to contextualize, like, and I want everybody to do this. I think back to right before Ultimate came out. What I love about like the release of a competitive title, specifically within the FGC, or specifically even, one step further within the Smash community, is that sort of like, this is a new opportunity to reinvent myself. This is a new opportunity. Like, this is my game. This is my year. This is my time to rise up, to shine. And you kind of, that optimism was very contagious, right? Especially because right before the game came out, AV, everybody was extremely positive towards the changes, the direction the game seemed to be moving in. I remember watching the Smash Invitational at E3, before the game came out, and everybody was like, "Man, this game is fun to watch. It's pretty cool." People were a little bit iffy on the balloon knockback, and then after playing Smash Ultimate for a week, it was so hard to look back at Brawl and Smash 4 and even Melee in terms of like how the knockback worked for some people. They thought so, you know, it was just so optimistic going into the game. And do you think that optimism has been pervasive throughout the year? Like, do you think it's continued and is even stronger than it was, or do you think it's gone down a little bit throughout the community? Like, what's your thermometer reading?
I think it depends who you are. For some people whose character kind of became who were like kind of one trick ponies, or in a much lighter sense, they just really liked one character or really identified with one character.
Yeah.
I actually feel like it's not. I think the world has not shared that optimism with those people. I think there's a lot of characters that have been kind of in limbo, in kind of weird states. I feel like the game just requires you to have either play a top tier or have like a nice gamut of characters in your roster.
Yeah.
I think that characters like Zelda, Bayonetta, like Jigglypuff. I mean, I know there were some changes recently, but if we're talking about the year retrospective, like Yoshi, DK, and there's a lot of characters that have kind of just been in limbo, and because the changes have been so gradual and and very very careful, it's kind of just like you're hoping you're either hoping or you're switching. So
Yeah.
I don't think that the optimism has been as pervasive as it was at the beginning, and I think a lot of people didn't like the way that the game combo. They didn't like the way that the engine felt. People have reservations about online. But all that being
As they should.
said, yeah, as they should. Online's pretty bad, but I mean, all that said, I actually think overall I've had a really really positive experience with the game. Every I generally feel that my playstyle can be rewarded, even though I don't feel like I'm forced to playing a certain playstyle. In Smash 4, I felt like I was forced to play defensive. I felt like it was the optimal thing to do, especially with my
Yeah.
character.
And sometimes at Melee, I feel like you're kind of forced to go in. Like, I don't know if it's just the way I play or what I like, but whenever I play Melee, I just feel like just attacking. I feel like Smash Ultimate, with something about the design, it makes me feel like uh sort of that extreme offense and extreme defense can sort of exist in harmony in a way that coexist in harmony in a way that, like, could be to the detriment of the game. I think at times, like, if you have an Olimar Ditto on stream and you have to commentate that and watch it, it's like, okay, I get it, but like, come on, next. Right, but there's a lot of instances, I think, where you have a lot of really cool diversity of matchups, sort of those kind of cat and mouse things versus two just berserker kind of characters, Roy versus Fox. I think it makes for a really diverse game. I really like that about Ultimate for sure.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's people say that the character diversity is really high. I have like an addendum to that.
Okay,
I have
please.
I have something that I want to attach to that. I actually don't think I actually don't think that it's purely because of character balance. I think it's because a lot of different play styles have become viable. I think the optimal play style for each character, when maximized with the right person, becomes viable. So what happens is that because now we have more open play styles, like the one player who can maximize that character's like specific playstyle can bring the diversity to the roster. There's so many examples of like really good players really good characters who only have one representative, like
Sure.
making top 8 or top 32. And because it's so much
Ironically, like
clearer.
MKLeo with Joker, for instance, like
Yeah,
even,
yeah. I was going to touch on that in the sense that why, other than I think maybe Zachary and I think Tweak sometimes pulls out a Joker.
Yeah.
You don't see any other solo Jokers even relatively close to MKLeo. You don't see any Game and Watches even
Yeah.
close. You don't see Rosalina's close
Sure.
with Dabuz, although Dabuz does play Olimar, but he
Right.
has fantastic like performances with the Rosalina. It's so weird in the sense that there's so many viable characters, given that you're like committed to the play style that optimizes that character.
Yeah. Well, you know what's going back to talking about Ultimate feeling so fresh, that goes hand in hand with it because, for instance, how can the game feel like it's been out for a while if I've never played a tournament set against like half of the cast or more, and I go to a lot of tournaments? You know, like I have never like I have owned this game for a year. I've played hundreds of hours of the game on my own Switch alone, and I've like never fought against an Incineroar player that was good, or like a Rosalina player, or like how does that exist? I've never even seen like a me swordsman in my life, thank the Lord. Uh, I don't know. I think that's why it still feels so new to me. I feel like I still have so much to experience, and I think we all do. In terms of the characters that are already in the game, let alone the ones that are yet to be announced.
So that's really funny because I've fought really good players of all three of those characters, and and I feel the opposite to some extent. My expectation going into Ultimate was that there was going to be a lot more character diversity, and that was met. I have played against good players of nearly every character in the roster. I
Yeah.
name a character that you don't think that you wouldn't think that I've played a good player of.
Dark Pit.
You're right. I haven't played against
The first one I list, dude. Come on, dude. The first one I list.
All right. Well, all right. Give me one more to redeem myself.
Okay, Ryu.
I've played a good Ryu.
Oh, come who?
Well,
Exactly, Amy.
as in like there's there are NorCal players that I think I've.
Oh yeah, which NorCal players, Amy? Which NorCal
I actually
players?
don't.
Please give me a name.
I actually no, it wasn't a Ryu. It was a Ken. So
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
I
I haven't played
Ken,
a Ryu.
did I? I'm 2 for 2, Amy. Come on, next game.
Oh my god! Wow. Okay. Well,
No, but
maybe I haven't played as many.
I do believe that you've played a lot of characters, right? But there are a few characters that you still haven't touched, Amy, which is my point. Like in Smash, and every other Smash game I've ever played. I mean, not really Melee, because in Melee there's 8 characters, right? That most people play, 8 to 10, and like you'll never have to worry about fighting a Kirby. So, but in Ultimate, there's just so many where I'm like, I had to fight a really good Kirby the other week in bracket. I was terrified. I was like, I have no matchup experience. It felt like it was a new experience. Yeah, I'm still getting new experiences playing this game that's been out for a year. Plus, this game's coming out on the Game Awards, maybe. It's nominated for the Game of the Year. I feel like we should at least address that, right? In the 1 year retrospective of Smash Ultimate. Like, this game is nominated for the Game of the Year at the Game Awards, AV. This thing's up for nomination.
So I guess it begs the question: do you think that this is a Game of the Year award game? Like, do you think it deserves it?
Yeah. So the other nominations are, I don't have them written down. It was like Control. I think Death Stranding was. It was a bunch of games I hadn't really played. So can I say it was worth the Game of the Year objectively, like fairly? No. It's a weird thing though, the Game of the Year award, because Smash Bros, for instance, it is what you make of it. Like, you and I have a profound appreciation for it, as do the listeners, because it's our hobby. It's something that we think about, that we reflect about, that we improve at, that we're working towards, that we really enjoy deeply. But like, how much of that is the game's responsibility, and how much of that is us using like the sandbox tools that Sakurai gives us to create this really cool competitive experience with it, right? And so how much credit do you give the game, and how much credit do you give the community? And that's kind of like the weird, like if you just play a single player game, like if you just play Breath of the Wild or something, or even like a less a less open game, like just a really streamlined, simple, like, Super Mario Brothers 1. My experience is going to be a lot like yours. That's something you can more tangibly assign value to. But Smash, it's like it is what you make of it, right? So it's kind of a weird. I don't think that you can compare those two. I think that like it's really hard to compare like a sandbox experience to a linear experience.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually don't even think that having the same experience is necessarily a bad thing. I don't think you meant that either, but I just want to
No,
clarify.
absolutely not. It's just
Yeah,
easier
yeah.
to it's easier to quantify what that experience is if everybody's going to have the
Right.
same experience, right?
Exactly. Because I mean, the idea of sharing that same experience and kind of the differences in something very similar actually makes it bloom. It makes it creates this shared the shared experience that if evoked in the correct way can be a beautiful thing. Whereas Smash is like about the community. It's about playing your friends. It's about finding that Ryu player, that Incineroar player, that Dark Pit player, and sharing new experiences, which is
Well,
absolutely
for us,
intangible.
but like for
And
my little cousin,
yeah,
it's for like doing a home run contest, and like they're both valid interpretations of the game, which is like the weird,
no,
which is
they're not because I don't think the single player elements of Smash should even be close to winning the Game of the Year award.
dude, you've clearly not played World of Light, then, baby. Let's talk about World of Light, man. 1 year of the best game mode. No, hey, I'm just going to defend World of Light one last time on the podcast. I've been playing it again, chipping away slowly before bed. So fun. I've just been really enjoying it. I'm a total World of Light stan, Avi. You can't shake me, dude. All right, look. If I had to choose between holding your hand at that Starbucks or never playing World of Light again, I would sit through the uncomfortable silence at the Starbucks, Avi. Any day.
Wait, so you're saying that that's actually really confusing. So you're saying you would not give up World of Light.
I would not give up World of Light. I would hold your hand reluctantly, but in order to preserve my cherished game mode.
Well, I see where you stand on that. I think that if I had the opportunity to remove World of Light from the game and and give us back break the targets, I would do it without even thinking.
That's interesting. That's interesting. You say break the targets as a like you. If you had to choose between break the targets or board the platforms, you'd go with the targets.
Yes. Okay, we're not talking about board the platforms. I don't know how you managed to shoehorn that into
silly.
this
That's weird though.
conversation.
I feel like that's an unpopular opinion that you would like break the targets more than board the platforms.
We did a Twitter poll on this. Peon has gaslit many people, including myself, into thinking that that board the platforms won that Twitter poll, but no, break the targets won that by a mile.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I thought that board the platforms won, and I was telling people that break the targets won.
This is some 4-dimensional space parcheesi that I don't want to partake in.
Wait, did you say 4th-dimensional space parcheesi?
That is what I said. But I think overall, like if I had a customizable break the targets, like where you could create your own stages and you could upload them to the interwebs and play people's break the target stages designed for specific characters, that would give me so much more happiness than randomly fighting like Bowser with super spicy curry on like a on like some like slippery thing, and just like and you can't touch the ground. There's so many stupid.
I will say the dumbest thing on World of Light is like there'll be a little you'll get someone in your party that gives you the ability to like just outright negate whatever the mechanic is in that fight. It'll be like there's lava on the ground, so then you just select the guy that's like does not get affected by lava, and then it's like, okay, well, there was no mechanic. I just like had to select something in a menu to win this fight. Like, that's kind of dumb. That's pretty stupid. I'll give you that one.
Yes, you have found one of many glaring issues with that single player mode. In any case, pulling it all the way back, it does not deserve Game of the Year award for its single player attributes.
Obviously it's my Game of the Year, obviously, right? I mean, I have a podcast about it, but but I could see why it's hard to evaluate for other people that aren't Smash Bros nerds. But Avi, I want to talk about like a little bit concerning the lessons that you learned along the way. You know, I think before the game's release, we talked a lot about how we were preparing to be good at Smash Ultimate. You and I were both very strongly advocating for the idea of getting a very fundamental understanding of the platform fighting genre. Like, hey, look, Smash Ultimate is a platform fighter, just like Smash 54 through Smash 4 and Rivals of Aether, those kind of games. So you and I were both playing other platform fighters to try to get like kind of a more fundamental understanding of everything going on. That led me to playing Rivals of Aether. That led both of us to playing a lot of Melee, and I think it really changed how I thought about like that whole period changed the way about how I thought about platform fighters, and I kind of re-emphasized my understanding of sitting center stage, getting stage control, keeping people in advantage, edge guarding, just kind of trying to reinforce all those key concepts. So have any of, did that work for you? Like how has your perspective on platform fighters changed since Ultimate came out?
Coming from from mainly playing the grappler perspective, it's changed my mind in terms of the risk reward that's come with playing that playstyle in Ultimate. I have had to adapt many more techniques, many more levels and dimensions to my neutral and punish game because things didn't come as free to me. In other fighting games, not just platform fighters, but in other fighting games, punish is a solved thing for in a lot of cases. The punish game is like if you see an opening, you usually know your strongest punish, and it's all down to execution. I felt this way in Smash 4 as well. The strongest punish in 7 out of 10 cases was a grab for me. In Smash Ultimate, the strongest punish is actually not always a grab. And it's in like even playing Donkey Kong with a character that gets more off of grab than probably every other character in the game. There's a lot of cases in which the strongest punish is not a grab. And that has fundamentally changed my perspective on the game, especially because grab is much more difficult to land, is much more difficult to fit into the landscape of the neutral. So learning what the strongest punishes are and learning how to pull the trigger on different things and playing a much more dynamic play style has significantly changed my perspective on playing platform fighters.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like for me, playing Inkling was a big thing in terms of changing my perspective because Inkling, one challenge I didn't anticipate when playing a new character is kind of learning like, okay, what is their game plan? I was kind of jealous. I picked up Inkling right when the game came out, and a lot of other people stuck with their Smash 4 mains or their Melee mains, and kind of rested on the idea of just being comfortable with the kit. Like if you're Fox, you're fishing for up smash, narrowing up smash, getting those up airs. Like your play style is pretty predefined. Well, with Inkling, it was like, hey, what do I, am I an aggressive character? Am I a defensive character? And kind of discovering how to pick up a new character in a new game really changed the way I think of picking up characters. Like, I think it's armed me with the power and the capabilities to pick up a character better than I would have had I understood Ultimate first and then picked up a new character. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of do because I put a lot of time into Joker, and when I was picking up Joker, I was a little unsure of how I was supposed to play him. I wasn't sure what the best tools in the neutral were. I wasn't like, do I really just spam gun
Yeah.
until they do something stupid and that I can just punish with grab? And the answer was actually kind of yes. You just spam. It's like it is. Joker is a very like fluid character in the sense that Joker can transition from different stages of the game really easily, and it was a very cool experience finding the optimal ways to play him.
Yeah.
It was interesting because he's nothing like and he's nothing like any other character maybe outside of Smash 4 Cloud. in the sense that there's like the Arsene period significantly changes the way you play the game for a small period of time, and
Yeah.
then it kind of goes back to normal. And there's this really beautiful push pull call response uh, aspect to the game that is beautiful and applicable in some ways to other characters. I don't know if I've truly gotten the same aspect in terms of like I've used
Well,
my ability to pick up Joker to pick up
let,
other characters,
let me
but I don't
theorize
know.
something on your behalf. Like the whole concept of,
Sure.
like you said, taking those moments of large advantage and pushing them as far as you can. Let's say you get Arsene online. Okay, now is the time to set up the kill. Right? You gotta have the same thing with, like, let's say you're playing. I don't want to say Donkey Kong because we always talk about Donkey Kong. Let's say you're playing as Marth or something, right? And you're at that high rage percent, and you get them to the point where like a tipper F smash will land. Well, now, like, that's kind of your new mode. Like, okay, now, like, this is what I'm looking for. I have my last stock. I need to kind of make a play here. And given these parameters, this is what I have to find in neutral or as a punish. That's kind of the same thing the Joker teaches you, is like, hey, uh, I have Arsene. These are the options available to me. How do I make it happen? Right. And I think that that's kind of applicable in that way, at least.
So what you're saying is that every character has Arsene.
Every character does not have Arsene, but every character does have a window.
Joker's
They have a
fine.
go
Every
time.
character's fine. every,
No.
no, yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. That is a really cool way to look at it. I think because like it agreed with me so easily, I think maybe I've thought about it subconsciously.
Yeah.
But that's like that is a huge thing. Like if you think about like if like I mean if you're playing Inkling, like the moment that someone gets into the up their kill percentage, it's like it's a paradigm shift. You know that it's like that it's a thing. You usually can tell if your opponent knows it's a thing, so you know that your opponent knows, and then suddenly there's just another intricate network of mind games that goes along with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It
And
changes the
yeah,
status of the game. Like, suddenly, what we're looking for is entirely different, and that's kind of a cool little thing.
right, yeah, and I think that's cool. I think the game did change my brain to some extent. One thing that I wanted to ask you is that do you feel like Ultimate has required different skills? Like in terms of getting better at the game, did you feel like Ultimate changed the way that you improve at platform fighters, or change the way that you improve at video games in general?
um, I think one thing that we do well in the show AV is kind of like set parameters on and try to define ways to improve at things. And a lot of that comes from within, right? It comes from understanding myself, building long-term habits for success, like understanding that, like, look, I might not be feeling it today, but a little practice over a long period of time each day, I'm going to get this mechanic down. I'm going to learn this matchup. And you know, I'll, I think that there's a lot of principles in terms of learning that are fundamental and extend through Smash Ultimate the same way it would any other Smash game or any other fighting game. But I will say that Smash Ultimate does require a lot of skills in game that I didn't anticipate it would. Like, specifically understanding what is and what isn't punishable with your character versus a character is so important in this game. Like, there's so many times in bracket AV where I'm like trying to punish something that is safe and then I just get hit for it. Or I go to hit someone after they do a move I think has end lag, and they'll spot dodge, and the spot dodge cancel F smash me or spot dodge cancel whatever. Like, I'll overextend to try to punish things. So like there's such a metagame in Smash Ultimate centered around punishing things that are hard to punish. You'll see a lot of top players, they'll perfectly punish what could be punished, and they'll perfectly avoid baits in a lot of situations. So that's something that I'm still working on quite a bit, and it's like something I don't think I'll master anytime soon, just because there's so many different moves in the game. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you have any thoughts on that specific aspect of Ultimate?
Not necessarily in the sense that I actually don't think Smash Ultimate has changed my approach to learning. I think my approach to learning has been fairly standard. I
Yeah.
use the same techniques and the same things that we've talked about on the show, same things that helped me in Smash 4.
Well,
And
you have
it
introduced
has
a lot of that cocaine that you always call it the Peruvian export, or the
yes,
or that white pow pow.
no, no,
You refer
no.
to it as.
I call DK forward throw off stage the Peruvian export.
Oh, forgive me, Amy.
That's what I was referring to, surely.
Yes.
But
What about
uh,
Shirley
I
Temples, Amy? Do Indian people drink Shirley Temples?
yes, I mean I don't, but I'm sure there's many Indian people
Oh
that drink
no, it's
Shirley
just like
Temples.
it's just like one of those like I'm sure I played a good Ryu situation, like where you can't give me any
Oh
names.
my god. I'm absolutely sure. I'm gonna ask the next Indian person that I interact with, like if they drink Shirley Temples,
Yeah.
and you're gonna find that out. But it's I actually think that my brain has stayed relatively the same for better or for worse. I think it has helped me improve. I don't think that I'm really really concerned. I don't think I'm at a huge plateau. I know I was, but I think that Ultimate actually hasn't challenged my brain in all of the ways that I thought it would, and I feel like it's mostly challenging a lot of the execution things that maybe a game like Melee would, which is really interesting.
Yeah, dude, like I will say like Ultimate doesn't have as much neutral as I thought it would. Like Smash Ultimate's neutral game is not as important as like okay, so I'll put it this way. Melee is about combos. Smash 4 and Brawl are about uh neutral. Smash Ultimate's about advantage state. Smash Ultimate is a game where whoever takes advantage of the opportunities they're given the hardest just wins. You just take turns beating people. It feels like you just can't get down, and there's just a crom underneath you, just up airing you. And I really like that aspect of the game. I think it's providing us all new challenges. But I think that there was, at least for a lot of veteran players, a bit of resistance early on because they couldn't just like in Smash 4 when I'd be playing in pools at a major or something. I would just wait for the other guy to mess up and I would just hit him. And Smash Ultimate, if the other guy messes up, you likely still can't hit him. Like it's really hard to overextend a lot in Smash Ultimate. So just like having a super refined punish game is the ticket to getting those like noob slaying wins, right? And that's a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
changeup.
yeah. It's really interesting because a lot of like the if you think about Melee, a lot of it is similar in the sense that you are going to get up aired by Marth 6 times, and in Melee it's different because there's a lot of cases in which you can't do anything about it. Where in Ultimate there are cases where you could. But in Melee you have things like you have way better SDI, and for those that haven't been introduced to SDI or hit stun shuffling, it's when you kind of like do if I don't know how to like properly describe it, but it's basically like inputting as many different control stick directions as you can to kind of like wiggle your way out of hit stun. And that was one of the most important defensive tools in Melee because you can use SDI to get out of being jab locked. You can use it to slide off of platforms after being hit to get out of hit stun. You can use it to get you can basically use that defensive technique to cancel a lot of things. Whereas in Ultimate, there's not a lot of things you can do in defense, right? There's no interactive defense. It's just like, okay, you have these cookie cutter combos, you have these things that are gonna work, and it's just whether you hit them or not, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, of course you
Yeah.
could DI. You could DI things, combo like have proper combo DI. I think there's still some semblance of that, but I think it has been de-emphasized relative to
Right, but I mean, but yeah, if you think about it though, in Melee, it's like it was interactive. Like if you DI'd in, it started like a chain of combos. If you DI'd out, it guaranteed like some kind of kill confirm. And there are cases like this in Ultimate, but like it seemed like every situation in Melee was kind of like this really interesting tug of war in between like I'm going to make this active choice to take more damage and DI in, or I'm going to take this or I'm going to take this risk and maybe DI out just to see if they won't execute on the on like the killing move. Whereas in
Yeah.
Ultimate, it feels like there's an optimal DI 95% of the time. I'm just inputting that optimal DI and not really thinking about anything else.
Yeah, because I mean the big difference is in Smash Ultimate. Like I really tell a lot of people, like when I'm giving lessons or when I'm just giving general advice, is like if you're in a combo, just drifting to ledge and opting to get ledge trapped as opposed to getting landing trapped is very often the right call against a lot of characters. And in Smash, in previous Smash titles, like going to ledge isn't like in Smash Melee, you can just get gimped and get edge guarded super hard. In Ultimate, like everyone has good recovery. So just DIing away and just grabbing ledge is almost always the right call, right? So it's like I for sure feel what you're saying.
Yeah, but I think overall, if we were to look at what we learned from the game, what would you kind of say is your main takeaways here?
Yeah, well, it's been so like when I first. It's funny, man. Going into Ultimate, I really wanted to be like a PGR level player. Like I really wanted to double down, play a lot, travel, and like my life kind of outside of the game took a shape to where that really couldn't be a possibility. Not to get just something. There was something bad that happened. It just couldn't really happen. Just my priorities changed. Right. I was more interested in making the podcast, which takes time. I was more interested in just doing other things, and it really kind of taught me a lesson of just like work life hobby balance. It's been like a huge source of fun, and it's been like a light in the dark for me in the last like year. Like every time I'm going through some stuff, it's been a great outlet, and it's taught me a lot about just balancing my own time and using hobbies in the face of otherwise mundane aspects of life. And for that, I think Ultimate. But I think that everybody's individual experience will vary. Like you always hear people reference each Smash title relative to their phase and their life in which they were playing it. Like, oh yeah, dude, when I was in college, Brawl was the game, so there was a lot of Brawl tournaments at my university, stuff like that. People kind of will chronicle the chronology of their own life relative to the Smash competitive life cycles. And yeah, for me, Ultimate's kind of just been the game that I've played in my early post-collegiate adulthood, which, I think that like the lessons it's taught me have had more to do with the time period of my life than the actual like mechanics of the game. You know what I mean? Is that an unsatisfying answer, AB?
I don't think there are very many satisfying answers here without being too outrageous with with suggesting things like that Ultimate changed my life, or Ultimate made me basically ascend and be with the the Dalai Lama, or like it gave me a third eye.
Ooh, it taught me about the very, 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 very painful pleasures that the Europeans specialize in.
Dude, all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to know, but I'm glad that it taught you those things. I think that's the real answer, that you're just unwilling to share until you got into this this state. Yes. Remind me to like set up this robot controller that like precariously purchases cold water over you, and then just like you press a button during the podcast to just dump the water on you.
or you could do like the classic, like every time you had a buddy like talk about inappropriate sensual topics at inappropriate times, you can just say like, think about your grandma, think about your grandma, think about your grandma, and just make them think about their own grandparents. You know what I mean? That'll work on me for sure, because I am by no means attracted to my grandma.
All right, well, I hope not, man. I hope not. But I think overall, I actually don't think high level I really have taken away that much from Ultimate. It may seem like I'm ragging on it right now, or that I'm in a weird state.
You kind of are.
Ultimate.
I was gonna say
it like I feel like overall, when I look back on what I've said today, it may seem like I've just been ragging on it. It's like I feel like they come in, they say, oh yeah, like AV's been playing so much Melee. What is he just does? Is he just throwing away Ultimate now and just like shit talking it? No, it's actually not the case. I'm still playing Ultimate. I still think it's an awesome game. I think from what I've said today, I may have created a different story or narrative in terms of what people think of my relationship with the game. But I love the game. I think it's fantastic. I think it's DK's best iteration by far, and I have so much fun playing DK and Joker in the game.
Bro,
So
like,
don't
dude,
get me wrong,
people
I
like you
absolutely
talk
love this
about
game.
DK so much in the show. Like I think like 1% of our audience is DK players, and like you're making them so happy. But everybody else that just like think about, there's probably more people that hate DK than love DK. Like, I feel like you're just hurting the show's image, AV, by constantly referencing your character, dude. Like DK is not a popular guy, dude. Like, can we just change the narrative? Can you be like a Captain Falcon player or something cooler, please?
All right, well, I'll just play only Joker from now on, so that we'll get even more hate. And I don't know if that helps it, but at least there's more Joker players out there, theoretically. But where are they? It's only MKLeo. Where are our Joker players?
Dude,
So I
I
think
have
if I
no
played
idea.
Joker, it probably would do more harm than help. But I don't know. I like the Kong. I'm not gonna stop for anyone.
Okay.
I think if I stopped, people wouldn't. I think if I stopped with no principle,
Yeah.
people would hate that.
What if I told you?
Anything,
No, be quiet. What if I told you that if you keep playing this Donkey Kong, I'm no longer gonna hold your sweet hands at Starbucks.
Wow, that's a really hard decision. I think unfortunately I will have to give up Donkey Kong.
It's one of these like the way people could tell that like that the me and AV holding hands at Starbucks story is not real. It's because like there's a much higher chance that we would hold hands in public than you go to Starbucks. Like you're such a coffee snob.
Yeah, it's true. You would never catch me there. There's
Like,
there's zero chance.
AV came to my hometown one time, guys. It's like a pretty small town. It's like a
Oh
gold
my
mining
God.
town in California, right? Oh, think old shanty town. Think Wild West. Think like prospectors and pickaxes and hydro blasting dynamite. And
Hydroblast.
and AV's like, hey buddy, hop in let's hop in the car. Let me take you to a nice little spot I found on Google. And he like takes me to this like super. There's like 3 businesses in the whole town, and somehow he finds this like little old hinky dink like hipster, like the guy at the cash register had like a curly mustache from those prospecting days. He was wearing like plaid. And he was like, "Oh, hey, yeah, what may I interest you in like some single origin drip pour Ethiopian blend?" He didn't even call it coffee; he called it like cafe. He like spoke one word; it was like French. And I'm like,
Dane, you
"AV,
can't
how
have a
did?"
single origin blend. That those two contradict each other.
Yeah, I think that's what you told me at the time, and it was just so pretentious. I'm like, "AV, how did you find this joint?"
I always know. I have an intuition. Reminds me of the time when we went to Genesis and I took you to the.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So another time, AV and I are at Genesis 6. I'm like, man, I could really use a little breakfast. AV's like, don't worry, man. I scouted out this nice little cafe. I'm like, no, AV, I went to this like wonderful mom and pop shop like yesterday. A bunch of cute little ladies serving these amazing. He's like, nope, trust me, I know the place. And he takes me to this like operating room. It was like the walls were white and everything smelled like Clorox. There was like one man in the whole restaurant sitting behind like a counter and nothing. There was like no decorations. Everything was just white. It was like if an alien was probing you and you opened your eyes and looked around, and it was like this sort of translucent glow on everything. And it was terrible.
The coffee was really good though. It was good coffee.
It tasted like a mad
Yeah.
science. I don't want a delicious sterile coffee, AV. I want like a mom and pop, wooden walls, a happy smile, handing me a cup of Joe, saying, "Have a good one, sweetie." And I'm on my way. I don't want some weird ass like Bay Area clean. It was just not my vibes, dude. It creeped me out still.
Well,
Like, if you could
can
also
take
see
your,
yourself being probed by an alien in a coffee shop, that's not a good coffee shop.
I prefer that my coffee beans weren't roasted to hell and back. than not being probed at a coffee. I would prefer to be probed than to have dark roast beans. Like, honestly,
Look,
probe me as much as you want. Just
Yeah.
don't serve me burnt shit, dude. I don't want. Dude.
yeah.
Okay, but
I think it's the people
yeah.
looking for burnt shit that are going to be doing the probing. But just okay, but
Oh my god.
just anatomically. But AV, I want to do a little best in show sort of a situation. Like the Game Awards, as we referenced earlier, are just around the corner, and it's been a year, man. It's been 1 year, so I kind of want to do like some best ofs the year, right? This isn't best of 2019. This is the best of the first year of Smash Ultimate. So I want to ask you first of all, what is your pick for the best reveal trailer? Now, this could be any Smash reveal trailer. It doesn't necessarily have to be a character reveal. It could be like the actual game announcement reveal, I guess. Or do we want to narrow it down?
It could be anything. I don't think we narrow it down. But all right, I'm gonna avoid saying Terry because I feel like that's just recency bias. Although that was a fantastic reveal trailer. I think the best one for me was absolutely King K. Rool. It was just super funny. Yeah, I think it was just really funny. Lots of memes came from it. I think it was like Sakurai trolling everyone with King DDD.
Yeah.
I think it just had everything. It had everything you wanted. I think if you wanted to do worst reveal trailer, it would probably be the Isabelle reveal trailer. That was awful.
Tom Nook just like 25 minutes, and then Isabelle is here.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible. But yeah, I don't think I need to give any explanation past that. How about you, man?
I liked. Oh man, for me it's a toss. It might have to be like either the Inkling reveal trailer, which was just like I think that has to be it for me. Okay, so here I'll give you two, and you could pick my winner, AB. So for me, it's between the first time that Smash like on Switch was kind of announced before the Switch even came out. It was just like the Inklings splatting into that, but it kind of had like a weird glossy sheen to it that didn't look very Splatoon. It looked something else. And I was on the phone with my lady, with my little muse, right? And I was like, oh, Smash Bros, and then boom, it looks in the Inkling's eye, Smash logo, boom, zooms out. And it's like fiery blazes, and there's just the Smash logo. It's like, it was like Smash Bros. And I was like, like freaking out. And that was such that was like the first glimpse we got into Ultimate, right? The tone, everything was sick about it. All the characters were in silhouettes, like kind of on fire. And I remember everybody was like zooming in and confirming all of the characters that were there. Like, and there was a lot of like, oh, is this Yoshi? Is this like, that sort of thing? So that was so hype.
I have this really dumb smile on my face, and I felt chills from like remembering all of that. So I don't think you even need to say your second one, because I think that like the wave of nostalgia that just hit me after you described that is palpable.
Okay,
it's huge.
Well, that was my favorite one, right? AV. Next category, we got DLC character. So this is just, who do we think, and I'm actually going to define this. Who do we think is the best designed DLC character? Take that as you will.
Best designed DLC character.
So this includes aesthetics and gameplay.
I think I would have to say Joker. Banjo is designed okay in terms of like there's a lot of things from the game. He's not particularly interesting in the meta. He offers like a few new things, but feels like a stock character in my opinion. Maybe that's a good thing. Terry is cool, doesn't appeal to everyone. Lots of like unique things, having what do you call it, a backwards side B is really cool, offers new things to the game in addition with super moves. I think Terry would probably slot in for number 2. Um, I mean, but if you think about it, then what do you have? Piranha Plant?
Piranha
No.
Plant,
What are the? And then what are the other ones?
Hero.
Hero. Hero's just a massive toss up.
Hero
I can't
sucks, dude.
define that.
I hate Hero, dude. I'll be honest. After like the more time goes on, and don't get me wrong, like I actually really like watching Hero. Like Ultimate, for instance, in our last Smash Bros tournament, at the BTM Face Off 3, he pulled out a Hero and like was just doing some ridiculous stuff. Like he hocus pocus and got giant, and then just had this like crazy F smash read as giant Hero, and I was like, it was so funny, but under the premise of like best design character, I think that like if we voted a Hero, the community would have our head. Like there's just no way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I it's like I feel like by process of elimination it has to be Joker. I don't know what you feel.
Yeah, for me it's Joker. For me it's Joker. I agree with you. I think that like Joker has that flash factor. I didn't even, and this is for me, I didn't really know Joker before. Like I'd watch my roommate play Persona 5. Really liked the aesthetic of the game and the music of the game. I never played it though. So Joker I have no personal attachment to, but just playing him, he's very fun. Like his whole, I think he definitely does have a lot of symptoms of being a DLC character. He's very good. He has some kind of BS stuff like with Arsene just killing super early, but I like that he has a pretty great combination of speed and power, and I think he's just really fun to use. I could say like some arguments against us giving him the nod is the fact that like sometimes when he gets Arsene, the little anime thing just pops up on the screen, Arsene, and then like his face just appears over the screen. It's like kind of annoying. And
So do you want to know exactly when that happens?
yeah.
I'm here to tell you exactly when that animation happens.
Okay, yeah.
So
Give me the scoop.
So a lot of people attribute it to random things. What it actually is if the Joker player is not inputting anything, and I believe is standing still, you get the animation.
But it happens off stage too.
So I think it's just if the Joker player is not inputting anything, and if you're just like, so it'll happen when you get like sent into, if you get like basically get sent into if you get hit into Arsene and you get Arsene off stage right before pressing your up B, when you're not actually pressing anything on your controller, you get the cutscene. So it's just when you're not inputting anything on your controller.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that is kind of annoying regardless. And also like how in doubles he had some like cheesy stuff where he could get Arsene really quickly if he was paired with like a Pokemon trainer, for instance. That got nerfed out. So like he had some things pushing him back, but I just think that out of the 5 that have been released thus far, Banjo, Joker, Piranha Plant, Terry, and Joker.
Hero.
Oh, Hero. Sorry. Yeah, I know I didn't say one. I think he's designed the best for sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people are going to disagree with that though. I think because I think there's also an argument to be said that Piranha Plant and Banjo both kind of feel like they could be base characters, and that's a good thing. And I agree in a lot of ways, but both Banjo and Piranha Plant just annoy me. they're both you just get buried. Piranha Plant just running around, his neck's expanding over. They're kind of annoying to fight against. So I gotta give my boy to Joker because here's one thing, AB. I think that Joker. Let me put it this way: MKLeo is dominating with Joker. People think that he's a very good character, but he's still fun to fight against. Like Joker's fun to beat up. He's very comboable. You can edge guard him really well when he has Arsene. Like he's pretty fun to fight against, I think, and he's good. So I think like looking at it from both perspectives, I think he's well designed.
I know a lot of people don't agree with you.
Yeah,
I personally do agree with you though. I do think Joker is really fun to fight against.
Yeah, and, I think that's an unpopular opinion.
I love watching him. I love playing him. I think for us we're in accord. Yeah. Maybe not everyone will be. Let's move on to the next one. Sure. What do you think is the best character for the meta? So this is any character, stock or DLC.
Yeah.
That has helped the meta progress. It's not, so this could still be like a really annoying character. It doesn't have to be necessarily the best designed character. I think I just want to know your take on it. You can interpret it however you want. So no restrictions here. What do you think the best
That's
character for the
such a
meta is?
hard question. I don't know. That's such
Just
like
fire your shot.
even like okay, even if I had an answer queued up for this, it's like how do you even define that? Like the best character for the meta is such a broad, like difficult thing. Because like, what would a best character for the meta accomplish? Like he makes the game. Like maybe the best character for the meta would be really popular, would counter all top tiers, thus making the game have more diversity because a lot of people don't want to fight against the character that would beat them up as a top tier. You know what I mean? Like what would that even mean? A best character for the meta?
All right, so I'm gonna create my definition for this.
Okay.
People can people can can choose to disagree with me, and I likely will disagree with me, but I will make
I
a
will
strong
likely
statement.
disagree with me. Okay. Talk to
No,
me.
I think people I don't think people are gonna like this, but I think the best character for the meta is Palutena.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Convince me of that, please.
So Palutena has by far defined whether a character can be good or not. Palutena is a very straightforward character, like has a straightforward game plan, easy to pick up, has simple execution barriers that can be bypassed with good training, and defines what a good character is in this game. Because Palutena is not completely dominant and although is a little irritating
Yeah.
to fight against, Palutena, like in my opinion, allows basically creates the a good litmus test for whether or not your character is good.
Okay.
And I think in a lot of cases, like learning the Palutena matchup is allows you to learn Smash Ultimate in a lot of ways. It allows you to learn your punish game. Remember all the things about where you said is something punishable. Like Smash Ultimate taught you about like how do you know whether something is punishable or not. I've learned all of that through playing the Palutena matchup. So
Yeah.
that is my strong argument. While I don't think that Palutena is the best designed character, nor do I think Palutena is really fun to fight against, I think Palutena has by far been one of the most defining characters in this game.
Okay. I agree with you, but I don't know if that means that she's the best for the meta, particularly. I will say that my pick is Lucina, and like with a small asterisk nod to the rest of the sorties too, because I think that having good sorties is really important for the meta because sorties generally do really well against zoners, right? Like characters that like to camp and sit at the corner. Well, guess what? Like if you get a zoner off the corner, a duck hunter, and all of them are off the corner, you can now ledge trap with your long hitboxes and stuff like that. And so I think that like having a good answer to the zoning play style is really great. And of course, sorties stereotypically have some problem against grapplers, right? So you kind of have this like great little triangle where zoners kind of beat up grapplers, right? And grapplers can pretty do well relatively against sorties, and sorties can do well against zoners. And it's kind of this. I'm very, very, very oversimplifying it, and there's plenty of exceptions to that rule. But I think that like having good sorties makes it to where grapplers have a good place in the meta, and then of course rush down characters can do it. Just kind of adds a really key component. And like let's say if Lucina and Crom and Roy weren't good, then we'd be in trouble in terms of how can we reliably deal with zoners. So
I like that answer.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually really like it. I will. Sorry, did you have something to say?
No, go ahead,
really
go
quick
ahead.
before. Yeah, so I will add one thing to my answer is to clarify. You asked me, you didn't really feel like it meant that it was the best character for the meta. I will clarify that by saying because when as a low tier player or a mid tier player, when you learn the Palutena matchup, in my opinion, all of those things that Palutena punishes you for are transferable skills. So getting punished really hard in certain situations for doing certain things because Palutena has so many options to punish you and punishes you in so many different ways, whether it's really long combos, grab confirms, kill confirms, edge guarding, ledge trapping. because you're playing because you're playing every form of defense, you learn so much about playing every other character. So it actually encourages diversity because you learn so much about playing about playing against a kind of like a huge gamut of basically offensive playstyles.
Sure, sure, okay, okay. I'm not sure if I'm sold, but I respect your answer.
Cool.
AV, what is your most fun character in the game? Go.
How do I not say Donkey Kong?
Yeah, don't mains are not included, right? This is like an objective thing.
Who's the most fun character in the game? Most fun character in the game is Sheik. Sheik for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, is it fun to die at like 70 and not kill anyone until 200? Is that fun?
If I could play if Sheik is viable, I think Sheik is a good character if you're interested about the very very thin line between pain and pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, in that case, I think I might have to reconsider.
But yeah, I think she's just too punishing, and the reward for winning with her isn't enough. But the way she feels, her entire moveset, everything feels amazing when things work and when things hit. She's so much fun to maneuver with. Her movement is amazing. She has just some of the best normals in the game.
Yeah.
She feels incredible to play. So yeah. I think she's just super fun.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, what about you?
I have to go with Dark Pit. Because no, for me, I think like the most fun character in the game is Pichu, and I'll say for me the reason why it's because he is just such a glass cannon. Like it kind of reminds me of like Captain Falcon. Or I love those kind of glass cannon types. I think that it's like you really don't feel. You don't really feel until you're reminded of your own mortality, right? In AV and in everyday world, which is why I love me some pain upon occasion, right? Because then you're reminded of your own limits, AV. And that's kind of what Pichu's all about. Like you can,
you're like hurting yourself whenever you attack. Do you like that? Is that why you like it?
Yes,
you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, well, well, that's really the whole thing. Like, all jokes aside, I think that that dynamic of I could die at any second, so I might as well edge guard you. I might as well take this risk because I could die at any point. It just makes for a really fun play style. I can't play Pichu in tournament because it's just a little too stressful for me. But when the game first came out, actually, Pichu was on my roster, but a little too stressful. But I think like in friendlies, just for the sake of having fun with the game, I think Pichu's up there for me, probably number one.
Wow, that's a really interesting answer. I can't say I relate, but that's cool, man. All right. Best single player content. What is? We already answered this for you, didn't we?
Well,
are you just gonna say World of Light, or what are you gonna say?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's gotta be World of Light. I don't think it's the most fun single player content, but in terms of like the value that it gives, I think that sitting back playing it over the course of a month or two or three, or in my case a year. Can we also, listeners, can you raise your hand if you've beaten World of Light? Because I don't know a single person that has. No, I do, but I seemingly know a lot more people that haven't beaten it. But I do love the kind of I love that it's supposed to take a long time and you can kind of just enjoy it piecemeal. It's my favorite piece of content for sure.
Different strokes, man. I don't know. I can't relate. So I bet you're dying to know what my favorite single player content in this game is.
Can I guess? Is it like the what would it be? Maybe the oh, you know what? I'm changing my answer. I totally forgot.
What are you changing it?
It's classic mode. Classic mode's awesome. Like how they kind of make each branch unique to the character, and even the two player classic mode. My girlfriend and I have been playing slowly. We've been trying to get 9.9 on all the things, and it's fun. Because she is a very casual gamer, but she'll hop on and she'll kind of try to understand the theme of the classic mode based on who the character is, and she kind of learn something about the character, and she kind of gets happy, and it's just kind of cute. I like it. It's fun. Classic mode.
It feels half-assed though. It doesn't feel finished. Like I don't feel a sense of pride and accomplishment when I complete classic mode. I think it's cool. The idea is great. Like if you play Ryu, you only play stamina matches. I think it's neat.
Yeah.
It feels unfinished. It doesn't feel real to
Well,
me.
we're
It
not here
doesn't
to
feel
critique AV. We're here. What's your favorite thing?
none of them. I don't
Oh
like
my
any
gosh.
single player content in this game.
What about
I
home run
have not
contest?
No, like that's like I mean that's just because I've never really liked home run contest, but
Yeah.
I none of it has basically made me say I want to go like uh get all the achievements or actually care about playing single player.
Yeah.
Like in Brawl I cared about getting all the achievements. In Melee I cared about getting all the achievements.
Okay, the single player
I
content
don't
in
care
Smash
about it in
Ultimate
this
is
game.
better than in any other Smash game for sure. Like
That is not true. That is so not true. Melee Adventure Mode is straight up better than every single thing that Smash Ultimate has to
Melee
offer.
Adventure Mode is awesome for sure, but like after you play it once, it doesn't change. It's the same thing. It has no replayability.
Right, but there's different
Sucks.
things that happen in the adventure
Yeah,
mode.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Want to hear something about me? Like what my original Melee disc when I was a kid. Every single time Falco appeared on the screen, it said it couldn't be. I never told the story. Every time that Falco appeared on the screen, it would say that it couldn't be read. So I could only play the adventure mode up until Falco appeared. That I had to just restart the GameCube and start again. That's so
but
annoying.
Falco
Dude.
doesn't always doesn't Falco not always appear in adventure mode?
I don't
Like
know. I think he appears like you fight him and Fox or something, or I
no,
forget.
you only fight Fox, but I think if you fight it on a certain like level of difficulty or something, or if you
Yeah,
do
it's
well
been
enough,
so
then
long.
Falco appears and you go to Venom or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and then Donkey Kong started making me crash too, so it was very sad because you always end up at Congo. No, on the classic mode, you always end up on the Congo jungle fighting the mini Donkey Kong,
Yeah.
whatever. Mini Donkey. Yeah. Anyway,
But
tragic stuff.
classic, all-star, classic, adventure mode, break the targets. All of these things were great in
The
Melee.
events mode in Melee
I
was
think.
really great. Really
Events was incredible.
Yeah.
Events by itself was incredible.
Okay.
Events was so good. Events, I can't believe I forgot about that. Events was
Yeah.
literally the best. Like
Yeah,
that was like
okay. Look, fair enough. Fair enough. But the category is best single player content, not like do you like any, like even if they all suck, you have to choose a favorite, right?
they're all equally bad.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving on. Let's talk best patch. Now, this is kind of a more competitively focused thing, as we tend to discuss. I have one in mind, David. Do you want me to just shoot?
Yeah, go for it.
For me, it's patch 5.0. That's when Banjo was released, but also the Sans Me Gunner thing was released, which was just hilarious. Like I had just come back from a vacation and I go to a tournament and I hadn't played Smash Ultimate in like 2 months. We covered this in the podcast. And I go back to my first tournament and like I'm playing against a hero my first round who I'd never played against before. Then I play against a Banjo who I'd never played against before in tournament, right? I played against him on Wi-Fi. And then my third round, I play against a Sans Me Gunner. I'm like, is this even the same game? Like, where have I been? Like, everybody's like picking the Megalovania song and going on FD. But I just thought it was such a funny patch. Like, having Banjo and was awesome for the whole Microsoft aspect of it. There wasn't really much balance changing that happened on 5.0. It's little things, but I just like thought the whole like Sans and Smash thing taking the internet by storm. Like, I just thought it was such a funny time to be a Smash player. So for that, I give it my nod.
I think I love that. I'll go with the more serious one. I think patch 3.0 was my favorite patch because it defined, in my opinion, how Nintendo was going to continue the patch cycle. It defined the philosophy behind the future patches. It defined like how it. So they changed. They they increased the penalty on continuous dodging. They made projectiles not as good. They nerfed Wolf. They buffed a few low tiers. They didn't do
Oh yeah,
anything
they nerfed Wolf's
crazy.
down smash, didn't they? And the
Yeah,
blaster.
nerfed Wolf, buffed Kirby, Mewtwo. They buffed King K. Rool back after terribly nerfing him in the first patch for no reason.
Oh yeah. Well, that was because there was like stupid IGN articles like characters that are too good. And it was just like some jabroni doesn't know how to mash out of the down throw, like, and then Nintendo's like, oh geez, yeah, come on.
Yeah. Most importantly, though, the most important change was actually Ridley's the final smash. It actually
Yeah.
it ended earlier. Ridley now can move earlier than the opponents after using the final smash, and that's really what defined patch 3.0.
Thank God, thank God. That was a really meta defining shift for sure.
But yeah, no. Jokes aside, I actually think 3.0 was by far the best patch. Even though, I think even though 6.0 brought along a bunch of really cool changes for my main, I think I think 3.0 objectively has to be my.
But 5.0 had 5.0 actually slowed. This is a deep cut for all you 5.0 stands out there. They remember fondly that the Smash Ball was nerfed in 5.0. It actually changed, like they lowered the movement speed.
What?
And they increased the hurt box in 5.0.
Well, yeah, that's because that thing was crazy. You could never hit that thing, and it just disappeared everywhere.
That thing was that thing was like, what's his name? Who's
the golden snitch? That's what
the golden snitch. I was gonna say Muhammad Ali is like floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. Like he just couldn't get it in the corner.
It never died too. It just you beat that thing up for like 6. Like you hit that thing with something strong 6 times. Like in Brawl, that thing explodes on the third hit like every time. But then this thing, you hit it all over and over again, and it just flies around and it just pisses you off.
It's like, yeah, they just wanted people to use like the smash meter mode. They're like, dude, let's do the smash meter, please. Try the new feature. For sure. Well, do you want to do like, let's just do one more category. And I think we should call it AV. I want to do like a best of alternate game mode.
Okay.
Like, so it doesn't have to be single player, but just like a fun little feature.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you?
Sure.
Where's your head at?
I mean, I don't think there's a competition for it. I think Squad Strike is very obviously the best alternate game mode.
Yeah, I guess you could also do Smashdown.
Yeah, I was considering it, but it's
you could do doubles. You could do doubles, stuff like that. Like, but
yeah, Squad Strike.
You could do is 8-person Smash like a
clearly
feature? Like, what do we put that in the category? Like the
maybe, but like I think any way you slice it,
yeah, any
way you cut it, I think Squad Strike is by far and away the best.
Yeah, Squad Strike's fun, but dude, Smashdown's one of the most over or underestimated features in all of Ultimate. Like, I'm actually just gonna say Smashdown, dude. Screw it. Smashdown's like when you get a buddy and you get a couple of beers and you just play Smashdown for like an hour. You just say like a first person to win like 20 matches or something. That's so fun as you see the roster shrink and shrink and shrink, and you're kind of thinking, okay, I'll pick this guy so that my friend or whatever can't pick him later. Like you kind of pick your friends' secondaries and stuff if you're also good with them, and there's like a lot of strategy to it. It's fun.
I think you're just being edgelord. You're just being an edgelord, and you just don't want to take Squad Strike because you can't admit it. You're the one who's vehemently like defending Squad Strike as like the as it should be the de facto side event.
Yeah, no, Squad Strike's pretty dope. I agree with Squad Strike. I just think that Smashdown doesn't get enough love, dude. If I'm being honest,
I think Smashdown's fantastic too. I think it's really fun. I think I think the additions of both Smashdown and Squad Strike are amazing. I think that I actually am okay with the fact that we have cooler multiplayer content as opposed to having legitimate single player content. I'm okay with that trade off. I'm sad that there needs to be a trade off, but I think I'm okay with it.
For sure, dude. Well, Abhi, I think we should wrap up that discussion for now. We've been going a while here. And I think it's time for us to go, AV. It's been a good week. We've touched a lot. I know we have some questions burning from the Discord, but I think we should cover them next week when we have a little bit more time. We've been running a little bit long on this one. AV.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, what were we going to say, AV? What was so important?
I was not going to say anything that important. I was just going to say, like, we have a few good questions, and don't worry, they will all be answered in due time.
For sure. AV, where can people find you, my friend?
People can find me at A plus my long Indian last name on Twitter.
Yeah.
That is correct. Speaking of my long Indian last name, we will answer one question from the Discord.
Let's do it.
It is from Fart Daily. Fantastic name. AV, how do you deal with Peon's constant racist tendencies?
Oh, we're legitimizing this one? That's what we're doing? Oh, Christ. Okay, what's your answer,
You heard this entire episode. I don't know.
When have I ever said anything racist on this show? I love every race. The Tour de France? The Indy 500? I'm all no.
I don't think anyone actually thinks you're racist. I handle it by acknowledging that some people were grown up on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and Peon just said he was not exposed to anything but Southern education.
I grew up in the suburbs. It was a very average childhood. It was a very diverse part of town.
I love pushing this narrative that you grew up in the middle of nowhere.
I did not. Just because I feel like you're categorizing my life because I'm white, and so it's that I'm living on a farm. I'm not like AV. He lives in a Buddhist temple or something. I think you're the racist one, AV. I think Fart Daily should rearrange his question, dude.
What Buddhist temple? You mean Hindu temple?
Damn it! That backfired, didn't it? No, I thought Buddhist. There's not a Buddhist in India. There are,
right? But the main religion is by far and away Hinduism.
Not in the South.
Yes, in the South.
I was hoping that you wouldn't call my bluff.
I'm South Indian. I don't know what you're talking about.
AV, come on, man.
In any case. You probably can't remember my South Indian last name, so you can go. I'm not going to say that I'm not
racist because the number one thing to say and for some reason I'm an expert at being called racist. The number one thing to say is that you're not racist. It's it's to say how am I racist? AV, how am I racist? Please tell me
you're not. Honestly, just for the sake of clearing everything up, Peon, you're not racist. you just know how to skirt the fine line of things. So,
between pain and no.
Exactly. But okay. Yeah. In any case, go check out the Beyond the Metagame Twitter account because that's where you can find me. And Peon, where can you find the Beyond the Metagame Twitter account?
You can find that at Beyond Metagame. That's right. At Beyond Metagame. The show you are currently listening to is not racist, and it's also called Beyond the Metagame, right? But Twitter does not give a damn, AV, and it never has. You can find me at Peon_BTM. That's Peon_BTM. That's Bravo, Tango, Mike, for all of you racists. No. And guys, that is all we have for now. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye. This week's episode was made possible due to the support of our patrons: BK Otter, Deem Guy, Weasel, Honk Lava, Hydra, Minlo, Plunder, Praxis, Zunon, Big Tip, Danderson, Fart Daily, Ferris, Giuseppe, Makatoon, Pandora, Puso, Ringo, Robiert, and Ultimate.